Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with a Prince of Swords, double air energy, right? To me, this kind of feels like we're on the fence about something, you know? That there's a decision that we need to make. It's kind of like, do I keep going down this fixed path I'm on? Or do I take one of these alleyways? Do I take the detour? Do I take this alternate route? Okay? I think you're somebody that usually is quite kind of clear-headed and sober-minded and committed, and you kind of, once you make the decision, you go straight ahead. You know, you kind of got that Taurus, bull kind of energy, which is like, I make a decision and I stick with it. But I feel like there's something going on now that's kind of like, it's making you think. It's giving you some really good arguments for going this other way, right? Or doing this other thing or changing something kind of critical here. And so we're kind of in this mode of like, is this a moment to be flexible? Or is this the moment to be steadfast and firm, right? Which way are we supposed to go, right? Now let's put this card into a little bit of context. Okay, we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. We got a 10 of Pentacles. So we know what the goals are here. Okay. You got a 4 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, and the way forward, the Lover's card, the commitment, right? The choice, the sacred choice with the Lover's card. Over here, we've got a Prince of Cups. We've got the Moon. We have a 5 of Wands and a Queen of Wands. Very good. The Queen of Wands is the fierce ambition here, okay? The fire that you need to get to this earth. This is the goal, okay? And we need the fire. We need the motivation, okay? I'm really interested in this Lover's card. I'm really, really interested in that. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, please put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we take a look around the room, we see major and major arcana energies. We see the 2 majors, right? We see the Lovers, the union, the choice, the commitment, a sacred choice. It's kind of saying like, I believe in this thing more than anything else. I'm choosing this. I'm saying yes to this. Without a doubt, there is no part of me that is not in this thing, right? This is a full-on commitment, and it's a focus, right? It's a choice to commit to something with everything you got. This is like, heck, 1,000% yes to something, right? Even when in the environment or in the relationship, you've got this moon energy. You got this fear. You got this uncertainty. You're committing to something with all of your heart, even though you can't see beyond the dark, scary doorway, right? And so this is kind of like, we have to commit to something before we know all the answers. Okay, and I think that this is a very kind of like, the timing here is very important. I feel like this is something that we can't really hesitate on. Okay, I still feel like you're kind of, you're a little iffy about it. You're sort of weighing the options a little bit, or saying, do I just keep doing what I'm doing? Or do I take this up, or do I take this detour? Do I take this side road? I feel like, it's almost like you're on the freeway and you're driving, right? And you're like, God, do I have to use the bathroom? Am I hungry? Do I want to stop and look at that big ball of twine? And it's like the exit's coming. Okay, this is the exit. I could take this one. I don't know. Should I take it? Well, we wait too long. We sit there and think about it too long, and it goes right by us. Well, we didn't take it, right? But the opportunity's gone. Of course, we could turn around. We could take the next exit, that sort of thing. But we can't take this one. We can't take this one at this time because it's past. And I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We're driving the car straight ahead, and there's this something in us right now that's saying, like, let's go. Maybe we're hungry. Maybe we're thirsty. Maybe we're tired. Maybe we got to use the bathroom. Maybe we should take this exit. But there's something in us that's saying, no, maybe we should just stay on the freeway and keep driving. I kind of feel as if this is the moment that we have to decide. And sometimes a change of environment will bring the clarity that you need. So it could be that perhaps we feel that impulse to turn and take this exit. Maybe we should. Maybe we should explore it. Okay? Maybe we're sort of worried in a way that if we commit to this thing, it's going to be a struggle to get back on the main road. If I make a pit stop, maybe I'm just never going to want to leave the gas station, Maybe if we stop at the motel, I'm not going to want to get up and get back on the road trip tomorrow morning. That sort of thing, right? But I feel as if your saving grace is your absolute commitment to the goal that you have. The Ten of Pentacles is your goal, right? But we have the uncertainty in the environment. I don't know. I kind of know I know where this path is leading. I know if I stay on the freeway, I know I'm going this way. If I take this exit, who knows what I'm going to run into? I don't know what kind of facilities they'll have. I don't know what kind of food will be there. I don't know who I'll meet. It's kind of an unknown thing. This, I know. But how long can I keep doing this before that sort of voice within me starts speaking louder that says, we've got to go explore this other thing? Okay, I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I know that you've got a lot of fire. You've got a decent amount of water, right? You got the air in the very center. This is the only real air energy we have, okay? And then we've got earth and earth and earth. So the air and earth now. We're thinking about the goal. You're thinking about what you ultimately want, the end. This is the destination, right? This is wealth. This is success. This is a richness of life. This is your best life. This is Big Rock Candy Mountain. This is your destiny or destination, right? So these are your goals, long-term goals. I'm on this road trip. This is maybe health, fitness, finances. Maybe it's about money, about your job, career. Maybe this is a career path. Maybe this is your school stuff. Maybe this is I don't know, whatever your goals are in life right now. Maybe you're retired. Maybe it's the garden in the backyard. Maybe it's your stamp collection. Maybe it's how many books you want to read, this summer. Whatever your goals are right now, there is this commitment to those goals. There's no doubt about it, you're committed to those goals, right? But there's this kind of deviation that we're feeling. I kind of want to go do some other things too, right? But if I take this pit stop and I go to the gas station and get some snacks or something, that's time that I could have spent driving 65 miles an hour or whatever your speed limit is to get to the destination. So that's taking time away from the central path. You know what I mean? But it doesn't feel like it's a temptation. It feels like it's almost a critical need. There's a Four of Pentacles underneath. This might have something to do literally with, water, shelter, food, and transportation. It's one of the basic things, right? And so it's kind of like nature's calling. So maybe we do need to take a little detour, even if it is for something as simple as I want to go see that park. I want to go, I want to go explore the I don't know, some museum or something they have. I want to go see a movie or, something. It feels like it's kind of a basic need. Maybe we're just literally getting tired from being on the road. Maybe we need a reprieve, a little bit of repose, some rest, restoration, rejuvenation, right? Something. But it feels like it's kind of a basic thing. So it might literally be like, you got to use the bathroom. You got to go. and I used to drive for a living. Right? I used to drive vans and cars and things all around the Bay Area, California. And I'd have a schedule. I got to be at this particular office by, before noon because they're going to close for lunch, right? So I'm driving there, and there'd been many times where it's like, gosh, I'm hungry. I got to use the bathroom. I want to go and maybe I should stop at the store and I go, whatever, right? Pick up a couple of things, run an errand or something. But I got to be there by a certain time. I've got to keep going, even if it's something very basic like, you got to use the bathroom, or you're hungry, or you're thirsty, you got to get drink, or the car's running out of gas. No, I've got to keep going. There's been many times that I coast into the office on fumes because I refuse to stop and get gas. But that's kind of like with this Four of Pentacles. These are the basic things that we've got to address. Okay, so there's something that you are in need of right now that you're kind of you're in this debate kind of mode. Where should I go and should I do that, or should I stick on the road that I'm on and not take that detour? We see that with the Ace of Pentacles and the 10. It's kind of like, this is the journey, yeah. And this is very, very simple. This is saying you set out on your path and you keep going till you get there. Why? Because you've committed to it. Because you've said, heck, 1,000% yes, I'm in this. And that means that nothing else is going to take priority. Well, what if you got to use the bathroom? Right? It's kind of essential to the path anyway. If you don't fill the car up with gas, the car's not going to get you to the destination anyway. So we're in that mode now where we're kind of judging and analyzing things, thinking, well, is this really necessary? Is this detour I want to take, is this just, is this going to be pointless ultimately, right? Is this just taking time away from my real goals? Or is this something that's going to help me to feel better, restore my energy, something to make me stronger, something to give me a little bit of relaxation so that I can get back in the car and I can drive for another 8 hours, The Eight of Pentacles, to me, the Ace of Pentacles in the background is telling me that you probably started this path relatively recently, okay? Maybe the last few months. So it's not like you've been doing this thing for years. It's kind of like we've been on the road for just a little while. It's kind of like you're on that road trip. And it's in the first couple hours, you're like, wow, maybe I'll stop for some food, But it's kind of like before you really settle into the road trip, you kind of drive for half an hour, and you think, you know what, I know what I'll do. I'll go get some snacks. And you're like, you know what, I got to use the bathroom now. And so we have to make a bunch of little stops before we really settle in for the long haul, That's kind of what it feels like anyway right now. So I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I feel like we're having a difficult time settling into it. Because, there's a few things. As soon as you get back on the road, you realize, I got to use the bathroom. You go and you do that. And then you get back on the road, you think, you know what, I should have got snacks. Pull over and get snacks. So it may feel like you're making a lot of pit stops along the way. But to me, I feel like that's us kind of settling in. That's making sure that we got all the bases covered, that we've got all the basic needs, ready. But I do feel there's a sense of urgency here. I feel as if this is something that it's like if we don't pull over and do this now, that exit's going to pass us by. And it's not something, we can't get that moment back, So maybe it is kind of, you're on this very strict schedule and discipline in your spiritual work, your routines of the day, But there's this opportunity to go meet with an old friend or go see that movie with somebody spontaneous calls you and wants to do something, or something at work where there's an opportunity for a different project, or for you to put a little time into doing something else, or it's extracurricular or something like this. And that's a situation that you're not going to really get back. That opportunity is going to, if you don't give them an answer, eventually they're going to walk away from your office. They're going to go down to the next office and ask them, So I feel like it's something along those lines. But Three of Cups at the top here, I feel like it is something that's going to be beneficial to you. It's something that you're going to like. It's something that is going to add to the richness of your journey. Okay, it's going to deepen the quality of the path that you're on now, and maybe it's something that's going to help to establish some bonds between other people, coworkers, friends, family, something like this, right? or it's something that is helping you to settle into this longer journey. Okay, and I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything about this little detour that's interfering with your commitment. So it's nothing that is like betraying a commitment, or that's like you feel that you should anyway, that you should feel guilty about, or anything like that. Okay. It could be that we are starting to feel a little bit stuck in this path, that we kind of feel like I need a little bit of something else. I need a little bit of, maybe this is, I've been working too much. I just need to hang out with my friends a little bit, right? Three of Cups, it's a card of celebration. It's a card of getting together with friends. It's a card of just a card of a good time, of expressing love and appreciation and sharing abundance with other people. Right? Because what we have in this situation here is just a lot of very steady, commitment, the discipline going from the beginning to the end, and I'm committed to this, right? Because of this, and maybe we're talking about this is your marriage, or this is your serious, significant other relationship, and this Three of Cups is saying like, I kind of want to go hang out with my friends once in a while. Is that wrong? Is there something that we are, is there something that we're sort of feeling worried about if we were to do that? Okay. And maybe it's just because of something inside of us that says, oh, it would be wrong for me to take time away from this my main commitment, right? To do these other things that are kind of just for me, just to enjoy. It's almost like you feel guilty for spending time by yourself or something, Because in the future position, we do have this commitment. This is that Lover's card. And maybe we are talking about a romantic relationship. Maybe we're talking about our commitment to one friend, but then also we kind of want to hang out with our other friends too sometimes, And so I don't know if there's some kind of a almost jealousy or competition kind of going on for something. Or if you feel as if you spend time with somebody else, the other person's gonna get upset by that, and so you kind of feel like your loyalty has to stay here, and you're not allowed to deviate from that path. You know what I'm saying? So, take it how it resonates with you. But in the future position, there is this unity. You're not doing anything that is getting in between this partnership or this commitment or this goal that you have, this path that you're on. Okay, so I feel like you are recommitting yourself to the work, right? To the union. It's like you're on this path toward this goal. You're going to get the goal. Maybe this is you kind of like you've been on this exercise routine for a while now, and you're kind of thinking, I want a cheat day already. Can I have one lazy day? And this is the bowl of ice cream, right? This is like, I've been good for a whole month. I just want a bowl of ice cream, people, The confidence that you can have the bowl of ice cream, and it's not going to ruin your plan of health and nutrition and intentional eating. Does that make sense? You go to the gym every day. You have this intentional movement type of discipline. You can have one rest day where you just sit on the couch and watch TV or watch YouTube videos. That'd be a good idea. Knowing that it's not breaking the bond. This is a union that cannot be broken. Okay? So take that how it resonates anyway, depending on your situation. On the path of the serpent, we see why. Because of this Prince of Cups. Because you have this love and commitment for something. Okay? Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. This is an authenticity. We're trying to express ourselves in truth and in love. We're being real about who we are. Okay? And really, that's the issue that's at stake. If you are lured away by this, and this relationship dissolves, that's saying something about you. Okay? But if you're able to do this, engage with this, have the bowl of ice cream, go hang out with your other friends, go do something else, at work for a little while, or take a little detour down to the park and just have a good time for a couple hours before you get back to your main work, If you can do that, but still return to this as being your full commitment, that says something about who you are. That's a person who is authentically involved in this. So in other words, it's if you're in a relationship where the other person doesn't trust you enough to go hang out with your friends or something, right? thinking that if you were to go out with your high school friends or whatever for an afternoon, that somehow that's going to destroy your marriage, right? The sacred union, right? Then that really is saying something about the other person's lack of trust in you, right? Saying that they think you're the kind of person that can be easily lured away by, let's say, one celebration, and that would be enough to destroy this whole commitment. Okay? And so this is kind of you, to yourself, really. I don't know if there's really, I don't know if this is a marriage or anything, but this is you knowing yourself well enough to say, I can have the bowl of ice cream, and I know that it's not going to destroy my whole plan, my whole, all the work, it's not going to take me away from my goals, right? We have to be the kind of person that can take the rest day and then go to the gym tomorrow, right? Not making it a habit. We want to have more active days than we have rest days, right? This is our ability to say, you know what, I can go and do these other things that I want to do, and it's not going to take me away from my path. And in fact, it probably is going to strengthen the commitment to the path, because it feels like it's a healthy fortification of you. Okay. And that's the authenticity that we're talking about with the Prince of Cups right now. But we have that in the relationship. We've got the moon. And maybe the moon is this kind of an uncertainty. It's a mistrust. It's saying there's a lot of dark, scary things that are happening in the forest there. The forest, it's like this dark, scary doorway. We can't see what's on the other side of it. And it's like you're telling your person, like, I'm just going to go out with my buddies for one night. You really think that it's going to it's going to change who I am, and I'm going to throw away this commitment that I have? And this is like the other person saying, I don't know if that's what you're going to do. I don't know if this is going to totally destroy what we're building, the union that we have, if this is going to dissolve the union, right? And so this is kind of like maybe with ourselves too, kind of saying like, am I the type of person that will just have one bowl of ice cream and then suddenly the whole diet goes out the window and I'm just having ice cream all day and it's just bedlam, And this is kind of saying like, I don't know if that's the kind of person I am. I don't know if that will happen. I don't feel like it will, but I'm not going to know till I go. I'm not going to know what's going to happen until I put myself in that situation. Okay? Sometimes we know ourselves well enough to stay away from the dark, scary forest because we know that there's going to be a lot of stuff in there that we don't want to deal with. A lot of things in there that might test us, right? And if we don't feel strong enough to resist the test or the temptation, or again, kind of, we were on this discipline of health and well-being, we have the bowl of ice cream, right? I don't know if I'm the type of person that can just have one bowl of ice cream. For me, I used to drink a lot of alcohol, right? I come from a family of very good drinkers. I know that if I have one, glass of alcohol, it's going to most likely turn into a lot more often too, right? So that's the thing I know to stay away from, because I know myself, right? And I feel like there is the appropriate strength, there is the awareness and the discipline that says, I probably could have one, and then not have any more for however long, and just continue on my journey, continue on the path that I'm on with the commitment that I have. But sometimes we have to ask, is it worth the test? Is it worth the risk, right, of entering that dark, scary forest? If you know that there's a bunch of monsters in here, we're not going to go through this unless we really need to, unless we really determine that it's important for us to do it, okay? Maybe it is. Maybe this is kind of saying like, we need to have the proof. I can assume all day long that I'm strong enough. And just like in a relationship, you can assume all day that nothing will dissolve this union, that nothing will separate us, nothing will pull us apart from each other. But we're not really going to know until we encounter some of those things that we're so afraid of. So I feel like there's some relationship in your life right now where you don't feel a lot of trust. And maybe it's between you and yourself. Maybe it's between you and a life partner or a significant other, okay? Maybe it's just you and a friend or you and your person. It's kind of like, when your cat or maybe a dog, when you leave to go to work in the morning, the dog is like scared that you're not going to come back. And you think, well, you know me, you know I'm going to come back. There's nothing that could keep me away from you. But the dog's like, I don't know that. It's a dog, right? So it's operating on these base instincts. Okay, something's gone. I don't know if it's coming back. Life is uncertain. We don't even know for sure that the sun is going to rise at some point in the next 24 hours. Most likely it will. It's like 99.99999% chance it will. But we can't say absolutely certainly that it will rise. We're willing to kind of, bet on it, right? We're willing to put stakes down on that assumption, but everything is an assumption. Everything is an assumption. We're not going to know until we witness it. We're not going to know until that sun rises. We're not going to know until we go. Okay, the dog's not going to know that the owner or the parent, the dog, I don't know what they call dog parent, right? The dog's not going to know until the parent comes back. Is that what you call it, dog parent? We used to always just say the owner, but, until the human companion comes back, the dog's not going to know for sure, right? And that's why dogs, we actually, my in-laws, they have a dog, and every time they leave, the dog doesn't know they're going to come back. The dog chews up the whole house, has torn the door frames out of the walls, right? Not even a very big dog. This is a little dog. So they ended up just having to take the dog everywhere they go, because the dog gets anxious, doesn't know for sure that the human companions are coming back. And so sometimes in our relationships, we operate on these very base instincts. And that's what this card is really about. So I think that we're sort of exploring that with ourselves and in our relationships with other people. And you're on that road trip, even though you really got to use the bathroom, we kind of just want to stay on the road that we know. I don't want to take this exit and try and go to that gas station where the sign's pointing. I've never been there before, So it's kind of it's really a fear of anything that's uncertain, or anything that's unfamiliar, or anything that sort of deviates from the expected. Okay? Sometimes, and this is where your choice lies right now, is this something that I need to take advantage of while it's here and go in there and see what's in that dark, scary forest? Or is this just something that it's like, nope, not even going to look. Not even going to look over there. Okay? We have to ask ourselves if it's going to help us to get to our goal, if it's going to enrich our lives, or if it's going to diminish the depth of the quality of our lives. Okay? The Five of Wands is in the position of what you don't want. You don't want to fight. But are you avoiding confrontation? Are you avoiding conflict? Or are we saying, hey, you know what? I'm ready to go into the dark, scary forest and face what demons are out there, face the monsters that are waiting for me. This is something that I need to face and develop the strength to see if I'm strong enough, or to invoke that strength within me to then get back to the path. It's kind of like if I take this exit and I go to that gas station to use the facilities and get a snack, am I strong enough to find my way back? Do I have the motivation? Do I have the fire within me? Do I know how to, give it some gas and go, right? Well, I think you do, because that Queen of Wands at the end, that's your ferocious ambition. This is the fire to get to the earth here, to get to the destination. And again, you want this goal more than you want the bowl of ice cream. So it's okay to have the bowl of, it's kind of like priorities, What means the most to you? It doesn't mean that because this goal means the most to me that I can never deviate from the direct path. Sometimes we don't realize that the dark, scary forest, it might not be the direct path, but maybe it's going to be a very good alternate route. Maybe it's going to be a shortcut. Maybe it's going to be, maybe it's going to be a much more scenic route. Okay? It might be a route that is going to challenge you and test you and ask you to face your fears, but that's going to turn you into a stronger person anyway. That's really going to continually forge the bond between you and this other thing, you and yourself, you and the path, the commitment, you and the other person, or your pets, or whatever it is. It's going to strengthen that bond. Sometimes these bonds need to be tested a little bit. Because we could assume that, okay, yeah, we're never going to cheat on each other, right? But there's no certainty in that, right? The certainty, I think, comes from giving each other a little bit of space and watching what the other person does, watching how they handle things, right? And so it's kind of like we don't know how we're going to react to the bowl of ice cream unless we just give ourselves the space, watch what we do. Put a bowl of ice cream in front of yourself, and maybe we eat it, maybe we enjoy it, maybe we celebrate it, and it is absolutely wonderful. But it doesn't, this means more to us than that. Yeah, the ice cream was good, and maybe I needed the refreshment, and it felt kind of good, and it was nice, warm, happy feelings for a little while, and kind of gave me a little bit of push, to keep going on the path. That's why, in these intentional eating plans, you give yourself a cheat day, right? That you have a day where you can just remind yourself that it doesn't have to be all kind of harsh discipline and austerity. See, this is just air and earth, right? Sometimes we need a little bit of joy. We need a little bit of water. We need a little bit of that celebration, a little bit of reward, so that we can stick with it and keep going. Let's look at the mystery card. I want to see the Empress. I want to see Big Rock Candy Mountain. I want to see maybe another 10, maybe a 10 of Cups. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. A King of Swords. This card again. Same thing. So it really is a confirmation that this is the issue at hand, right? Do I go into this unknown, uncertain way where I might have to face some fears and really test myself? Or do I just avoid the confrontation, avoid the dark, scary forest, and just stay on the tried and true path? Okay. And it's almost like, do I trust myself enough to take the detour? Or, is that something that I really need to face? Do I need to find out how strong I am or how not strong I am? And how maybe I need to work on some things or whatever, right? Is it time to face certain fears and uncertainties and face certain, mistrust kind of dynamics, right? Very, very interesting. But I think the clock's ticking. I do. I think that this is something that we need to sort of maximize the experience here. And it's kind of like you're on this road trip across country, but you're not stopping at any of the attractions. You're not seeing any of the national parks. You're not seeing any of the museums. You're not seeing any of the cool things that every different state has to offer you. You're just driving straight through. You're missing a huge aspect of that journey, because a lot of the stuff we're ignoring. Why are we avoiding that? Why are we ignoring that? We don't want to stop. Why not? It's going to make your journey so much more rich and complex and layered, Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. We'll do an Jing hexagram. We'll do oracle cards. New readings for Taurus Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch the extended readings on the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com. I've also got some essays that I've posted on the blog section there, and there's going to be some other things that I might be offering. Anyway, you can also find me on Patreon, right? Subscribe to my wife's channel, Ula Tea Leaf Readings. She does tea leaf readings for all zodiac signs. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.